What an incredible crowd. I decided I would come and visit with my very closest friends in Oshawa. And this is the crowd you bring. Look at this incredible 6,000 people from Oshawa here. I'm afraid you might lose one of these airplanes. Our little guy might take it up for a spin. Let me just acknowledge that we had a terrible medical emergency here. Look at that, we got an apple over there.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's rally in Oshawa faced a protest from a group of masked activists. Around 10 demonstrators, some wearing keffiyehs, waved large Palestinian flags and held signs outside the venue. The protest was in response to Poilievre's strong support for Israel, which has been at war with Hamas since October 7, 2023. Hamas initiated the conflict by attacking Israel from Gaza, leading to a military response from the Jewish state. The protesters stayed even after the rally ended, as Poilievre's supporters left the venue. Inside, around 6,500 people gathered in an airplane hangar, complete with an actual plane, to hear Poilievre's message. Poilievre's rally was eventful, with his son wearing a pilot jacket and a medical emergency.
What an incredible crowd. I decided I would come and visit with my very closest friends in Oshawa. And this is the crowd you bring. Look at this incredible 6,000 people from Oshawa here to put our country first and bring home the Canada we love. Okay. Oh, Sasik, my little guy Cruz, our pilot here. We've got a little pilot here. Show him, look at that pilot jacket. He sees all these planes, and I asked him, do you want a plane or do you want a helicopter? And his answer was, yes. I think he wants both. So if the security turns their eyes away for any amount of time, I'm afraid you might lose one of these airplanes. Our little guy might take it up for a spin. But before I go any further, let me just acknowledge that we had a terrible medical emergency here. A gentleman collapsed and we thought we'd lost him. But then an amazing and courageous nurse came to the rescue. Jennifer, come up on stage. Come on over. Thank you. Give Jennifer a big round of applause. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. What a hero. Amazing, Jennifer. How long have you been a nurse for? A great Canadian hero, like so many. We're so blessed to have the greatest people on earth, courageous, giving, generous, patriotic, in solidarity, one with the other. Our people deserve the best country in the world. Our flag represents the best country in the world, and we are going to restore the promise of the best country in the world. The great Canadian promise. It's the promise that anyone who works hard gets a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street, protected by brave soldiers under our proud flag. That was the great Canadian promise that gave me my start in life, that allowed my wife to come here as a refugee from Venezuela. 6 people crammed into a small basement Montreal apartment, but all of them have succeeded and enjoyed a great life as a result of the promise this country has to offer. Unfortunately, it's been 10 years, the lost Liberal decade. The lost Liberal decade. Everything costs more, with food prices up 37% faster in Canada than in the United States. Housing costs have doubled, with the worst housing price inflation of any country in the G7, and the fewest homes per person in any of those countries, even though we have by far the most land to build on. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder overtake our once safe streets. And yet, the Liberals have weakened our economy with high taxes and anti-resource laws, a radical net zero ideology which stands for net zero growth. They have driven $500 billion south, and they have weakened our economy, making us more dependent and vulnerable than ever before on the Americans. So the question in this election is very simple. After the lost Liberal decade of rising costs and crime and a falling economy under the thumb of the Americans, are we going to elect them for a fourth Liberal term, or is it... No, we're not. We cannot afford to elect this disastrous Liberal government for a fourth term. It is time to put Canada first for a change with a new Conservative government. Bring it home. Bring it home. Wow. But it is the same Liberal ministers, the same Liberal MPs, the same Liberal strategists, the same Liberal policies that got us into this mess. Never entrust the solution to the people who made the problem. The only difference between Trudeau and his economic advisor is the fact that Mark Carney is weaker and more out of touch, totally conflicted with millions of dollars invested in things that go against Canada's national interest. We must reject, up until just a few months ago, he had 3 different passports, was calling himself a European, moved his headquarters to New York, killing jobs and opportunity in Canada. He will make us poorer and weaker, and that's exactly why Donald Trump keeps trying to get Carney re-elected. At the same time, Mr. Carney gave a big gift to Donald Trump this week. He announced that if he is re-elected, he will keep the Liberal No New Pipelines Law C-69 in place. This law will guarantee that we will never build another pipeline, major mine, LNG export plant, and force us to helplessly hand our resources over to the Americans at a discount, making us even more dependent than we already are. Canadians, Liberals have not learned their lesson, but Canadians aren't stupid. They know that we need to develop and harvest our resources to take back control of our economic destiny for a change. And that's why I've announced a Canada First economic plan. I call it the Bring It Home plan. Bring it home because we're going to bring home our paychecks in production, and you're going to bring home more of your paycheck. So let's start with that first point. After the lost Liberal decade, Canadians are now spending more on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined. Look at that. We've got an apple over there. He's got an apple for me. That's very nice of him. How do you like them? No, don't throw the apple. We don't want anybody else to have to leave in an ambulance today. I wasn't the best baseball player. Afterwards, you can give me the apple. And, all right, nice guy. How do you like them apples, everybody?